Good evening, my fellow Americans. My name is George Wilson. I am your presidential candidate from California, Democratic ticket. I want to say good evening to you guys. I want to say I pray that everybody is safe. And I know the anticipation into reopening the 43 states that are available, that are hope to be open in some mannerism by Friday. I pray that you all will be safe and continue to practice some manner of social distancing, wearing your mask, and not all trying to congregate in one real big place where there is coronavirus, whereas someone could possibly infect you, or you can be affected, or you can affect someone else in these venues. So I pray that we continue to keep our hands sanitized, keep our masks on. My personal advice is don't do it, but I understand everybody's trying to get out of the four walls and get some type of normalcy. And so with that in mind, I want to caution each and every one of you that decide that you're going to go back to work, count the cost before you do it. If you're going to go back to work, make sure that the workplace is safe and that you will not be in any harm's danger of contacting or yourself infecting anyone with this coronavirus. It is a menace. It is a killer. And it is highly, highly dangerous. There's a lot of states that I've seen a model today that show that some are in the red, I believe it is the dark red, are showing drops, are lowering drops of this coronavirus, and so the cases are less to little to no death in those states. I think it's about maybe 6, 7 of them. New York and New Jersey and Connecticut, I believe it is, being one of those states. And then you have states that are in the orange, meaning you're steady. The numbers aren't going down, and they're not really going up, but you still have a substantial amount. And if they do go up, they go up slightly. So, and the death rate is coming down. So, again, these are still hot spots. And then you have states that are in the yellow, seemingly. These are the ones that are the most dangerous states right now because of the high levels of coronavirus and steady going up. The death rate, the hospitalization and death rates are skyrocketing. So when I overlook the whole map and just in general, if all the states were in red, I would say, okay, I wouldn't have too much of an issue. I would say, okay, but still be careful. Backdraft. Talked about that yesterday on my political views on yesterday. However, still we have to be worried about backdraft because what looks good, sounds good, even feels good, may not be all what it's cracked up to be. And I don't want to see anybody else fall victim to this virus when it's not necessary. So that's my personal take on it. We see that the president, I mentioned yesterday, the president was talking about slowing or ending the task force. And today, after he took a look and somebody under strict advisement from his scientific group and those that are more informed, he decided to keep the task force group intact. Now, this is weird for me because every time I open my big mouth about something changes. But I know why. But you all don't, but I do. But anyway, so it looks like this is what is going to continue. We're gonna be under this thing for a minute, and when people ignore the fact that this stuff is still out there, and there's a potential to create more harm than good, this is alarming, and it's frightening for folks that have underlying issues that yet to be infected by this. It's scary for folks that afraid if they did get this, they might not pull through it. And when they see people going out and getting back out and back in the public and shopping and doing all kinds of things, now LA County here in California, it's horrible with this coronavirus. It's nowhere near to the point that anybody in their right mind would open up LA. But they have. Certain counties, they're just, it's like they're trying it here, there. But the hardest hit county is LA County. And they're opening up LA County. Now, Tulare County, other than Fresno County, are also very hard hit with this coronavirus. And I'm looking to see what they're going to do about those two counties. Are they going to allow these two counties to open up to regular or some partial, what you call it? I don't know. We'll have to see. If they don't, I'm going to think this governor has lost his mind. I mean, because if you could open up L.A., which has the most coronavirus cases and hospitalization and deaths, why would you restrict Fresno County and Tulare County? Anyway, personally, I don't think he should be allowing it just yet. I think he should wait till these numbers come down a lot more. I believe social distancing should be still in effect. The way it is, 6 feet. I believe that self-quarantine is key. That's what's helping this situation. And people wearing their masks and gloves when they are in public, especially their grocery stores and otherwise, just to keep down this coronavirus and in protection of others. So again, themselves and others, I think it should remain where it is. I think that he should wait a little longer before he considered the idea of where we are. He was talking about the 15th of May, and now they're trying to push everything open as of Friday this month. So weeks earlier, a week earlier, should I say, than the original plan. This is not good. Again, so we'll see where they're going with this. I don't think we're ready. I don't even think the United States is ready. Now, there are some states that don't have any. Now, maybe they can do whatever, but still be cautious. I think certain counties that in certain states that don't have any. I think they should be able to do something, but be very cautious. But when you get certain areas that are just been hardly hammered and hit with this coronavirus, I just don't believe that's a safe move. I think it's an idiotic move. And I believe that people are going to pay the most heaviest price for it, and that's lives, unfortunately. It's just the way it is. They were talking about a second wave, but they have no idea of what awaits them after Friday. They have no idea. None. So this will be interesting. If you don't have to go to work, I know you need to go to work, and I'm not mad. Not mad with you because of that. Everybody needs to go to work. They're talking about unemployment rate is going to be, through the roof, and where everybody's going to be looking at full-fledged recession. And it really doesn't matter if you partially got these states up and running, and then let's say, for instance, over weeks, you just say, okay, let's everybody go back to what we're doing. It's a new norm because the stuff is going to still be out there. So you just can't go back to the old. It's going to be something different. There's something new. And so with all this going on, even if let's say the case is in a good scenario. Let's say the case really pretty much levels itself off. Let's say, okay, there is no more new growth. Very little that people are recovering. A lot more. You're starting to level off, but you hadn't leveled off. So it's pretty much where it is. It's just an even kill. Saying that we're not getting any better, but we're not getting any worse. Okay? Someone said, I can live with that. We just have to be more cautious, careful in what we do to make sure that this doesn't become something else. That's the best case scenario of it. Okay? But even if that was it, and they say, okay, well, nothing we can do, these numbers are not going anywhere. They're not going that much up, and it's not dropping significantly. Dropping some, but not significantly. So this is pretty much, we're going to be like this in this area, like this. One time a little bit higher and then back down. So we're going to be like this for a minute. If it stays like this and you open up I say, well, why not just go ahead and open up the states? Okay? Even if all 50 states open up and put everybody back to work, hotels, dining, and everything, parks, recreation, whatever. Now, they're still talking about parks. And they're like, we may not bother with opening the parks just yet because children, and they like the touchy-feely things. And this virus now is attacking children in a very alarming rate in other countries and some here in this country. And they're like watching that, and they're not putting a lot of news about that out there because they don't want to send a widespread hysteria, and then folks are like, oh, no, then you got a problem. So the backfall of this is going to fall on the states. President Trump makes sure that the backfall of this is going to fall on each individual state that decided to open up. So his butt don't look like he caused it. Well, and then the governors get eat. Why didn't you just protect us? Why you had to be so quick? You can't make everybody happy anywhere. Even if all this went up in the best case scenario, the economy would still struggle to come back up because, one, there's not enough people working. Two, they're behind in the deficit beyond imagination. I think we're well up to $30 trillion, over $30 trillion in debt. So that's an issue. Okay. And all this money they put out there, they're going to figure out a way how to get that back. Okay? So even if they work that way to get that money back by taxes and taxing you double, which they'll do without you realizing it, raising car insurances, raising taxes on vehicles, and all kinds of other little stuff they can hit you with. Insurance, all that. To try to get their money back. A little more. 60 million people. You're talking about 60 million, over 60 million people that filed unemployed, are unemployed. Even if they open up all 50 states, some of these people have been furloughed. Some of these people are not going back to the regular jobs. They left. Now they're looking for other jobs now. So you talk about 60 million people are out, Americans, people are out of work. How do you put those people back to work? And this is on top of those that are homeless, that yet they have to get their lives back together to get back into the economy and go back to work. So you have a cluster of an issue. So that's the best case scenario. You're looking at, we're going to fill the levels. They're not going up much, but they're still present. They're not going down as fast as we would like, but it is dropping to a degree. The testing is, now this is what's going to happen. The testing and the tracking is going to ease up because people are not going to pull them to these places and be tested. Now on their jobs, they may have to check them or going in certain venues, they'll test you just to see if you're okay, temperature-wise, just make sure you ain't got no type of ailment walking in the store or whatever. And they're doing that now. But as far as testing, and tracking, that's the good part. It's going to relax. They're going to just do some, but not hardly enough. They're already not doing hardly enough now. They're going to come to a point that they're like, well, we're going to prepare just in case we have a problem. And we're going to stockpile. Because they're going to anticipate that something could go wrong. And if it does, they want to be, this is their way of saying we're going to be ahead of it. Okay, that's the good case scenario. Worst case scenario is that this level of takes off and go, and you got more people sick than the healthcare providers could handle. They're getting sick because other people coming in sick. They're dying. People are dying. And this thing is still, it just took off to a whole nother peak. They weren't prepared for this, and they'll not be prepared for what's coming. Those 60,000 people, 60 million people out of work, we're probably going to 100 million people out of work or more. And you got to remember, those that already have passed on, which they said now is 73 from just the United States, 73,000 people that are gone. Some of them are working class. Their jobs are gone forever. There is a massive turnover in the workforce. So you're talking about 60 million people out of work, and you go over 73, close to 73,000 people are dead. So you're looking, you can't get, the math is, that's just common sense. You can't get 60 million people back to work for 73,000 that is gone. It's impossible. And some companies are not hiring back a lot, people. They're hiring back some, essentially. And the ones that have been on furlough so long, it's to the point that they're like, oh, you know what? You got people that say, I really didn't like that job anyway. and they won't come back. They be looking for other jobs. And that takes time because those recruiters or those employers are not sitting down interviewing people for jobs right now. They're trying to get the old ones to come back to help their business to get back going. And some of these small business people, some owners, that even with this little, when it came a little too late, this reopening is not going to help them. And if people start getting sick, that's it. These small business owners will lose their job. They would not jobs, but they would lose their livelihoods. They would have no choice but to just call it quits. So if you want to help the economy, you wait. You want to save lives, you continue what we're doing. I know it's just a little longer, just to make sure that we're sure that everything is on. Don't take the word of a madman, your president, as to be golden, because he done lied so many times. And he done came up with crazy, wacky ideas on how to help Americans, and they all failed. Pushing to open up the United States, put everybody back to work, at least in some mannerism, people applaud him and say that's a good idea. You might save your re-election after all. But the problem is, how? Look at all the cases in the United States. Over 1 million cases still, and the numbers are still going up of cases of coronavirus, and technically nothing's being done about it. Over 73,000 people are dead. Your president caused 73,000 deaths. He caused over 1 million people to be infected when he could have jumped on this a long time ago. And he's still pushing the idea of putting your lives, my life, in danger by reopening up the United States in the middle of a pandemic. Worst case scenario, we suffer. And we suffer horrible because of the backdraft is going to be a whole lot worse than the beginning fire that we ran into. Backdraft is always 10 times to 100 times worse. I couldn't sleep myself knowing I caused 73,000 people's lives to be lost to a virus that I could have could have jumped ahead of this a long time ago. Because of my sloppiness, I got these many people that I'm supposed to be looking out for gone. Telling me your condolences, deepest condolences for my family doesn't help me, Mr. President. You could have did your job, and my mama be here. You could have did your job, and my auntie, or my cousin, or my sister, or my brother, or my dad, my granddaddy, my grandmother would be here if you just did your job. You're so hell-bent in getting the United States open, you're not doing anything for these rest homes, nursing homes, that these elderly folks that have underlying issues are dying because of this Corona-19, because you're not doing your job for testing. And giving these people that work on the front lines in these rest homes the correct the PPEs that they need so they don't get sick. And you're running for re-election. We call ourselves Americans. I don't know. That's one part of it. Again, I saw the video of the young man that these two police officers, well, a police officer and his son, I don't know if he's I don't know where he was. I don't think he was a cop. Shot this young man in just south of Brunswick, Georgia. He was just jogging in the park. I don't know his mistaken identity. I don't know if they thought that he was involved in something. Even if that was the case, if he's an off-duty cop and the thing about this, he was an off-duty cop. He used to work for the police department. Has no more jurisdiction than anybody else. He had nothing to stop anybody. If anything, he thought that this young man was part of a situation. Probably had a police scanner, and somebody was calling that they seen a young male assailant or whatever. Now, I don't know. I can look at this in so many different ways. It's just, but to execute, and that's what that was. Murder in the first degree, it was an execution. They killed this boy in the park as just a jogger. Even if he had something to do with something that they're trying to say that he did. He was not a police officer. He couldn't arrest him. If they thought, and that's IF, they thought that he had something to do with whatever, the father, being the ex-cop, could have made the young man sit, had his son call 911, and have the cops show up. And then let the cops sort this out. Okay? You're looking at one ex-cop. And it doesn't matter. When you start talking about crooked police department, crooked law enforcement, corruption, that should have never happened. His son should have never got out of the truck with a loaded shotgun and pointed at anybody. That kid had a right to try to defend himself, to get the gun away from this white guy. There's no way other could go around it. And not only did he shoot the boy, the father shot him. 3 shots. And they killed him. And no arrest. Because he was an ex-police, they gave him favor. They kicked it up to the grand jury. At least they're going to try to kick it to the grand jury. And they're saying that they don't know how long it'll be before this case could be heard. They can get a judge to sign off to get have the young man arrested. But because it would take some time for the grand jury to hear the case, they can have him released. But on bond. So the kid can wander still back out on the street. My heart goes out to that family of that young man that they executed for no reason. Because he was black. That's the only thing I can think. Because he was black. I don't care if you fit a profile. If you're not the individual, no one has a right to shoot you or to approach you with a shotgun. And if that was the case, this guy knew police procedure. He totally didn't go by police procedure. Even if he was no longer a law enforcement, part of the law enforcement. And that only thank God he don't work for the cops no more. But that only make me think what he was doing when he was actually a police officer. My heart goes out, really it does. It goes out to that family of what happened. It shouldn't have never happened. And see, this, we could talk about we can talk about gun violence in America. But it's doubly worse when ex-law enforcement officers go rogue and allow their son to go rogue and shoot somebody. Because my dad's ex-law enforcement, we don't want to be part of the good old boys down in the sun down yonder in Georgia with the Confederacy. They're going to need to die. Really? Yeah, I said the word nigga. Because that's the way they treat us as African Americans in these southern states. There's bigotry and racism still alive and well, and it's prominent now. Everybody's up in arms. Racism. Blacks against white again. You see what I'm saying? See, in my mind, that's, not trying to stir up anything. I'm an African American. Okay? Thank God for me, I live in California. And, these cops around here are so relaxed, it don't matter. They'll look at you like, ain't bothering nobody. Okay? I mean, they got they'll look at you funny. And they just give you that look like, I wish it was you that created the problem. I have a reason to do what I had to do. But obviously, you're not the problem. So I can't do nothing. But anyway, moving along. But in them southern counties, they can do what they want to do. Because they're all part of a group. And unfortunately, we don't fit in. We're low. We're dirt under their feet. And they can get away with it. They can do what they want to do and get away with it. At least so they think. This is not a political move, Joe Biden. You're getting up with the governor, the governor of Georgia, to look good as a PR move, to try to get the votes of the black people. This is not a PR move. It's tragic. This is not being a candidate for president to get your face seen on public TV to do what? So you can win the votes in Georgia? No, sir. This is a slap in the face. Let's take racism out of this for a minute. This is not political. This is about life in general. And what these people have to look forward to in these lower states and these southern states. Even when it's controlled by, let's say, more Republicans, if you will, than Democrats. Georgia is a Republican state. Yeah, some Democrats, but they outweigh the Democrats. This is about a family that's just been torn apart by a madman simply because they can Or it might have been, hey, let's scare them. And then they, it escalated. You point a gun at me, if you don't use it, and I can get it from you, and I ain't going to take hesitation to blow your brain out. And this is not just something, this is just the reaction of anybody that's a human that lives in these areas. You don't understand the pain and the hurt and what these people got to live through every single day. You're showing up there for a PR move, Vice President, so you can look good. Now, they already said that they don't know when this judge was going to kick this to the grand jury. Then they don't even think it would even. They leaning toward the side that there will probably be no charges filed anyway. Why are you there? Can you do something about this? You think your voice is gonna, which you probably could, if you really wanted to do something. The governor is a black governor. She's black. She's Afro-American. She could only go for something. She's got power over the state. She can do a lot more. She's doing too. But there's always someone behind the scenes saying, don't you think about it. Because we can replace you with a lieutenant governor, which is a white man. You follow what I'm saying? And I'm not being racist. I'm not being biased. I'm just keeping it real. Because it doesn't make sense to murder somebody in cold blood in broad daylight for whatever reason it may be. And being ex-law enforcement, you know better. I'm outraged, okay? I don't know. If being a Democratic candidate really doesn't give you much power. It's just saying you're running for the power. It doesn't give you that much power. I'm a Californian. I'm not a Georgian. I would have to be living in that state, a representative of that state, to try to make something happen. I can call from here to Georgia to talk to the governor if she take my call. But you say, well, you're just another candidate. We got Joe Biden. We don't need to talk to you. So they wouldn't talk to me. But see, all of this just fuels and continues to push me to do what I'm doing. To be your commander-in-chief. To say this is not going to continue. Not going to happen. We got a lot of work to do. And this, on top of the coronavirus, is just another thing that they're continually doing behind the scenes and apparently in our faces. And because of the coronavirus, they're saying justice cannot prevail right now. So, now the families to this young man probably can't even give him a burial right now because of the coronavirus. I wonder if they're going to put on his death record corona. Well, he was shot and killed because of coronavirus. They're doing it on everything else. I don't know. You see, and this has been viral and has been nationwide. I know President Trump saw this. He's so hell-bent on his reelection and opening up the economy, he didn't address this at all. Not at all. He's saying that's a state problem. Let the governor deal with it. Doesn't affect me as a commander-in-chief. And see, that's where you're wrong. Because you serve the people in your country. In the country. The American people. So, you mean the American people is only in Washington? Or that would be me being commander-in-chief in Washington, D.C., and only people that matter to me is Californians, since I'm from California. Or those that matter to me are the ones that are in states that my family resides. So everybody else, so middle America, your problem. That isn't how it works. That's why I'm saying you're looking at a commander-in-chief that will be on the ground with you. Leave no man behind, dead or alive. And justice is what it is. Justice. And I know we're in the middle of something right now, but that boy's family need justice. And you're sitting around saying, well, we can't do this because of Corona, back us contra folks. Shut up, Negro, please. You follow what I'm saying? First time black man called a white man Negro. Shut up. You ain't making any sense. But this one thing got to do another. You can preside over such a thing, put everybody into play, put your mask on, if you will, and do your job. That good old boy cracked out the window. Your good old boy shot somebody for no reason. And that's murder under any law. You don't have to be a law professor or graduate Harvard or Yale or Princeton. No, that's murder. Period. Now, some people disagree with me and say, well, you're the president. You don't have time for little stuff that happens in the States. You got a lot more to deal with as far as the country. And if you said that, you're right and you're wrong. You're right. I got far more matters to deal with to make sure everybody's safe, the economy, the environment, infrastructure, all those wonderful things that come along with the job. Okay? Yes, that would be my job. And my job is also to the American people. And when you hurt, I hurt. Now, if I can't be on the ground with you, but I'm sending somebody, and I'm going to call over there and say, what's going on? Why is this going unhandled? Do I need to call some justices? Well, you got to go to the Court of Appeals. I don't got to go to anybody. But why would I have to call the Court of Appeals and go straight to the top of the food chain? You forgot who I am? You know what I'm saying? But why are you doing this for the low class in Georgia? That was a young man, a bright mind, that could have benefited this country with his expertise. And you snuffed out that life. You think I wouldn't fight for that young man? Yeah, I would. I got sons around about his age or older. I think they were older. But still, you shoot my boy and kill him for something erroneous, whatever, you answer to me. And you don't want me to be the one that you got to stare at in your mug. You just don't do that. I don't care if they're Asian, Native Americans, Latino, African American. I don't even care if you're white. If someone guns you down in the middle of the street for no apparent reason at all, it's murder. And I sure enough going to say, there's no way in hell I'm going to sit as your commander-in-chief and not inquire of that state and find out what's going on and why you are sitting on your butt. This is not a bill to be passed through Congress. It's murder. Do your job. Do your job. And arrest these people who were involved in shooting somebody. So yeah, gun control, gun violence, especially when it has to be from brutality, from ex-law enforcement, all that stuff I will deal with as your commander-in-chief. See, this is not game time for me. I don't need a PR. Whatever. I don't need all that. I'm not here to look good. I'm here to do good. I'm here to change corruption at the highest level and trickle it down to the lowest level. See, because we are only as strong as our weakest link. And if the states are not doing their job, and the city municipality of those states aren't doing their job, then it trickles up the road and doesn't make anybody anywhere look any better. If the governor can control the state and control what goes on in his state and can't control the officers in his state, then if he don't do his job, then he don't need to be governor. Get somebody in there that will do a job, that will clean house, that will straighten out stuff. Because law is the law. If you're guilty, you're guilty. Do your time. If you're not guilty, you will not go to jail or be railroaded into prison or jail for something you didn't do. Well, there's a lot of paperwork, legwork. That's what you took the job for. Hire you somebody who don't do the legwork. Do your job. And I don't know what Joe Biden, I have no idea what Joe Biden's doing there. I really don't. I don't see how in any way, form, shape, or fashion, he's going to be able to help. Other than look good. And like he's going to support and stand beside the governor. And she's not doing what she needs to do. She know that was murder. Why aren't you pushing pressure on the judicial system? Yeah, the judges handle each district. 9th district, 8th district, 7th district. Whatever. Their court judge run by the state. The state is run by the governor. And if the governor sees that what's going on in these municipalities that's not doing the job, the governor has the last say. Now, they could always take it up higher if they want. That'll be your right to do that. But if you're doing your job for the people that you are in charge to keep them safe, then no court in the land can stop you from doing your job. They might not like the way you do it, but that's their problem. Put other people safe. On the people being treated fairly. And that's what this is all about. This is personal to me. This is real as it gets. We need a commander-in-chief that cares about everyone. No matter what, whether it's on a federal government or local, that he cares about the citizens in the United States. Because you're going to remember, these are the citizens that voted for you to get into the office. I understand it got nothing to do with popular votes. You can't get a lot of popular votes, but that's called electoral votes. Electoral college, if you please. So, again, still made up of people and delegates from different states that represent the whole state. So it's like they're like the voice for the state. So if the state sends 8 delegates to the conference, that state's represented by those 8. Okay? Or whatever number they send, 4, 2, whatever. But each state sends an amount of delegates according to the electoral votes that are in those states. So, when you still look at it, it may be an electoral college that decides who becomes the president of the United States. But you're still elected by that state. Each and every 50 state of the union, you're still elected by, all those states are represented at that place. And it's got to come to a unanimous decision as to who they all choose to be the best candidate or the best commander-in-chief. That would be the best commander-in-chief come November. They decide according to delegates or how they say electoral votes that you have. So a lot of things play in there. Now, with all this going on, can there be voting tampering? Yeah. Can there be votes that be cast in the corner? Like, yeah, right. I don't even know this person. Like, we got our guy. We already know what we want. Who's he? No. Sure they can. But it's up to you all to get out there, let your voice be heard and to be known, and to speak your mind, and vote for the candidate that you know that would represent the United States the best as your commander-in-chief. And I'm not doing this because I'm a black man. But let's put that out there real fast. No, I'm not doing this because I'm a black man or Afro-American to be more politically correct. I'm doing this because the American people have been lied to too long and been cheated out of a lot of stuff and been walked on as they're nothing. And the big business and corporation is getting bigger and still getting more money and paying less taxes on it. Or if they're paying any at all. You and me miss a tax payment, and oh my God, they want to take your boat, your house, cars, and your children too. No. Every life matters, and every incident of your life that you live in the United States. And so, if I tell you I'll be on the ground with you, I'll be on the ground with you. If something drastically happens that I will send representatives or I'll personally show up myself. And we won't leave until justice or whatever needs to be done, emergency help, whatever, is done. And I'll see to it that it is before I relieve them of their duty if they're on the ground for me. Because they will speak for me. And I'm not sending anybody down there that will say anything or do anything that I wouldn't do if I were there. That's what I'm talking about, being real and taking this country seriously and personally. It means a lot to me. It's not a game for me. It's life. It's moving forward. It's taking the bull by the horns and saying, you have done enough damage. And you wrestle with that bull. And you wrestle with that bull until you get him on the ground and you rope tie him. And say, you're done. America will live and will rise above the ashes and will stand strong and be proud once again. And we'll do it together. So I need everybody around the world to pray for this family in Georgia. Send letters to the mayor, correspondent to the governor to do something. The mayor of that city, lieutenant governor of the state, the governor of the state, let your voices be heard. You can make an intelligent, should I say, non-ignorant statement that shows how much you care about what happened and why they're not doing what they need to do to expeditiously. I don't care if you go get a judge to sign and go arrest that man. Arrest him. Because what happens is he goes on the bond. He may get out, but he knows he's on the bond. He knows he's got to go back to court. He's going to have his day in court. See, because if you don't arrest him, he thinks he got away with it. Let the good old boys know that you just can't step on us anymore. This ain't back in the 60s, buddy. And the early 70s. Don't happen like that no more. And we all treated equally under the eyes of God. We need stiffer laws, and we need people that are going to do their job. This should have never happened. Also, going back to the Afro-American community that make up 60% of the population and dead from the coronavirus. 13.4% or 7%, I believe it was, are infected. We have Latino communities that can't work from home. They can't do their jobs at home because they work with their hands. And to get back out there and do those jobs is very dangerous. And so a lot of them are thinking twice about going to work. And you can't blame them for that. Because there was a number, I forgot how much they said it was, 34% of the Latino community has died from coronavirus. And I think 16 point something is part of the population in the United States. So between the African American and the Latino community, we're the ones suffering the most of this coronavirus. You look at it, but think about it, right? If we all think about it correctly, and it's just, again, it's not being biased or impartial or partial or biased. It's just straightforward. You would think it was aimed at the Latino community population and the African American population. Now, of course, you got some Asian folks that are dying from this, and also older Caucasian people are dying also from this, but not as much as the Afro-American and the Latino. Why is that? Why is there only a certain sector of people that are protected from this virus and everybody else suffers? Anybody stop to think about that for a minute? When you decide you want to go out there back into the world, did you not think if you're Afro-American or a Latino descendant that this thing is aimed at you? By someone that may be of a different ethnic background that's infected? You don't even know. See what I'm saying? My county was a county that didn't have any cases at all. New records showed, I'm not counting, but my city. New records showed that 11 people have now tested positive in Lindsay at the nursing home. Old elderly folks with underlying issues. Lindsay's not a very big city. Big enough, but not very big. And I don't know if they got proper PPEs. Now, never before, it's now affected my city. Now I gotta be more protective. Because you never know. Did well with the social distancing. I believe we should continue. I don't believe they should reopen the states, especially California. I think Governor Newsom is under pressure from Washington, D.C. to do so. I think all the governments are under pressure from Washington, D.C. to do so. Under this regime, under Donald Trump. But if the ball drops and it goes south, he's going to blame every individual state for reopening. And none of the blame will be aimed back at him. We have to do something. And we have to do something quickly. We've got 6 months left. And that's it. 6 short months. And we have to go to the polls. Ladies and gentlemen, I implore you. I can't make anyone support me. I can't make any of you trust me or have confidence in me. But I want to get you to understand. America will never be America if it stays under Donald Trump. If you vote Joe Biden in, he got maybe one good year. Maybe. I applaud you to vote someone in. They got the people's heart in mind. And that cares about every individual in the United States, the American people. That we can get ahead of this, get it contained, get it under control, and put this in the rearview mirror. That's going to take some time. Take a lot of hard work. It's going to take people that know what they're doing. Take staff people that will work hard into the night. People that are dedicated to help the American people. Because it's their parents, it's their grandparents, it's their friends, it's their loved ones that's out there. They can get this thing just like anybody else. And it needs somebody that knows this and says, look, enough is enough. I don't know about you, but I've had enough. And I'm tired of watching this president bringing this great country to nothing, destroying it at every turn with stupid ideas. It's like a third grader or a fifth grader that throwing a temper tantrum and just slamming stuff and breaking stuff because he's angry and frustrated and just, that's a kid you ain't got to the classroom and try to talk to him or send him to the principal office and say, you need a timeout. And I'm calling your parents. And believe me, this was back in the day, I would have wear your backside out and then told your parents I did it. You touch your child now? Oh. Somebody wrote something that President Trump said, that President Trump is a wolf and don't care about the prey. He don't care about the lamb or don't care about those that oppose him, especially if it's somebody that's not like Joe Biden. It's like to him, like, get away. You're like an annoying bug. Get out of here. I was sitting in my backyard with my wife, and we were sitting out there with the dog, and it's flies. I'm like, man, we gotta get this thing for these flies because the weather's getting a lot warmer now. And it was just annoying. I mean, they weren't really flying around us so much, just in the yard. Annoying. You like fanning them off, like drove my dog crazy, jumping up trying to snag them. And that's what President Trump looks at people like me as an annoying bug. Get out of here. Go somewhere. But Mr. President, I'm more than an annoying bug. I'm that wooden penny that keeps showing up that bad penny that keeps showing up in your pocket. Doesn't even deal with pennies. Or that bad coin. Let me say bad coin. I'm that bad coin that keeps showing up in your pocket. I'm that $2 bill that people think is taboo. I'm that annoying wart that you use wart away and it goes away and comes right back again. I'm the psoriasis that goes up in your skin. And you use all dermatology stuff to smooth your skin, but it still flares back up. I'm that type of individual that you will face. And I don't go away. Shoot me off if you think you can. But I'll keep coming back. Because I'm coming for your job. The American people had enough. I had enough. And it's time to get a new commander-in-chief. No disrespect to former president, vice president Joe Biden. Again. But they already pretty much chose their boy. They pretty much saying, well, they're Democrat. Only reason why Democrat chose Joe Biden because they don't even know me. Because they knew me, they'd be like, oh, we got it. We got somebody that got a great competition. Let's have some fun. But a day is coming, and weeks coming, everybody will get to know who I am. And those of you that have doubts, all your doubts be laid to rest. Because you'll know who your new commander-in-chief will be. I have no ill will toward former Vice President Joe Biden. I have no ill will to Donald Trump. I don't like his ethics, his politics, and neither do I like his character. I ain't got no ill will. I think he's a sick brother that wants to be biased against folks that just not like him, but okay. I love everybody. Like I told people before, I'm a man of God first, then you're president. I have to love everybody. Never do anybody any harm. But wrong is wrong, and right is right, and wrong is wrong. And when you're wrong, I'm going to tell you you're wrong. And I would expect the same. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. In my case, show me that I'm wrong. And I'll beg your pardon. I don't have a problem in admitting that, I recant, I was wrong. May have jumped to some wrong conclusions. Just a miscommunication. But I'm here to set the record straight. Doesn't make me less of a man. And doesn't make me less of your president to admit that he's wrong. The problem with President Trump, he doesn't like to admit that he's wrong. When he knows he's wrong. He don't want to show anybody that he's human. And he can make mistakes. He wants to be this perfect light. But he's a perfect darkness in the light. Make sense? Anyway. We had enough. I hope you had enough. Because I certainly have. And I need you guys to think about it. Vote for me in 2020. My name is George A. Wilson. I'm a write-in presidential candidate. You have to write my name in to vote for me. And you believe in truth, honor, respect, integrity, righteousness, and justice, then vote for me. And I would never, by the grace of God, with the help of God, let this country down, all the American people. God bless the United States of America, and God bless the American people. Have a good night.